Hello and welcome to the Early Years Staff Meeting Podcast with Sarah, Kealey and Steph, a place where you can listen, learn and laugh with us about all things early years.
Hello!
Hi girls!
Hello! Hello everyone! Oh, we're back. We've done the first slog at school.
We're back and we're in the cupboard.
We're in the cupboard.
AKA the recording studio.
Yes.
We've got a sign on the door that says please do not enter.
Yep.
Let's hope people respect the signage.
Yeah. So if we have any interruptions, apologies. We'll just have to roll with it.
We'll have to edit
Someone coming in to get some pom-poms.
Yeah.
So today in our podcast we're going to be starting with a little professional vent. And then we're going to be going on to our main agenda, which is talking about ways that we settle the children in, which is very appropriate for this time of year. And then we're going to do some staff voice on how we are settling in this year, and then finish with our mindful moment.
Okay.
So let's
crack on with the
professional vent.
Professional vent. Down to the wrong one again.
I thought that was the best one.
Hang on, listeners, let's just go with it. Hang on. I need to take that one off, remind me.
Professional vent. It sets the wrong tone. It puts me in too much of a good mood.
Okay.
So I wanted to have a little professional vent this week because where I have moved into nursery, where I've been teaching in sort of reception and Key Stage 1 for a few years, I've had some people that are not in education, people sort of outside of education, but also people that, work in schools that I know but don't work in necessarily the early years, sort of almost look down on it as like a little demotion. They sort of can't understand why I've been put into nursery, or moved down into nursery, like it's something that's been done for me. And I just think I'm kind of having to justify, it's questions like, are you not properly teaching then? And I just think that kind of sums up people's perception of like early years education. It's like, actually, if I was an ECT or an inexperienced person going into nursery, like it would be so much harder. So you've kind of got to use all your years of experience and knowledge of children and how children develop to sort of support you, especially in this early bit. So I just wanted to have a bit of a rant about it really, because it just gets on my nerves when people think that.
That's awful. And I feel really sad to hear that other professionals would feel that you've been demoted or that you're not a proper teacher and you're not doing any teaching, and it just shows their lack of complete understanding. Even in child development, that they wouldn't understand that in early years that we are teaching. That's why it's called the foundation stage, because we are teaching them the foundations for them, but when they finally reach those teachers classes, that they all of those skills that that they needed to be able to get to them into year 3 or year 4 or year 6 or wherever is all because of their first time in school. So
and I think that because there's not so much of a delivery of lessons as such in nursery, that people don't see it as proper teaching.
No.
And they don't understand that actually the important bits you're doing, which are the prime areas, and it's so essential, because if the children are not happy and settled, which we'll be talking about in a minute, they can't do any learning.
No. And that is such a big thing. If you don't do those bits first and have them settled and have them ready to learn, they're not going to be able to do that when they get into reception, which means they're not going to be able to learn how to read and write, which means when they get into year 1, they're not. That's when we then start to see behaviour. Yeah. Because they're not ready and they're not prepared and they haven't got the foundation bit sorted, so that they're not ready for the big part of learning. So if you don't get it right here, then you're done for.
So if you're listening and you work in any year group, even if you're a reception teacher, please don't look down on other people.
No.
Please just, have utter respect for any colleague wherever they're working, because we're all doing an amazing job.
Absolutely.
And it's a really tough job, So, you know, we don't need to be putting people
And I was
down.
also say, go and have a look if you know you have got an early years setting in a primary school or whatever. Go and pop down and visit the nursery and actually see what we're dealing with. And then you might have a little bit more respect for
Exactly. They'll be pleased for the extra help for 5 minutes.
Hold this crying
or an
child.
extra little cuddle or a little you're okay and sit down and play. But I think it is really important because as I've now moved up the school, it's really interesting to see that lots of people don't understand where children are getting frustrated because they can't see, why can't they do that? Why aren't they being able to do this, this and this? Because they can't see where they've come from. And actually, if you go down to early years and go and see where they've come from, it's really interesting. And I think just a day will let you go, now I can see. And it will just help you just to understand where those children are coming from, especially those children who are not meeting where they maybe should be at that time, and to go and have a look, and especially those social and emotional children, those children that are really struggling social and emotionally, they really go and have a look and see what's going on down in early years, because that will give you loads of ideas to help those children, because actually they might need to pull it right back to that early years stage.
Oh, definitely. And I think there's that fear for teachers that they don't want to do that. They just don't understand.
You're not going backwards, you're going backwards to go forwards. If you keep pushing forwards, you're just going to end up even worse than what you are. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, ladies. I feel vented now.
We support you,
Yes,
Steph.
I know.
Every step of the way.
I know, you will support me. Right.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah,
That's the
we're
right
ready.
one. Okay, so we're moving on to our
main agenda today, which is talking about how we can settle children in to school, because obviously that's quite topical at the moment, where we've just come back to school and we're doing lots of work on settling children in. So what do we think is key?
So I think you probably still may have 1 or 2 children at the moment that might still be really struggling. In that instant, that first week, the first day always goes really well, and you think, this is good, we've all settled in, we've all come in fine. And then day 2 hits. And it just knocks you off your feet.
Realisation.
And every year it just lulls you into this false sense. Even though I know what's going to happen, I still think, oh no.
The first day you always go, that went really well, I'm so pleased. You walk in the next day and the end of the next day doesn't sound quite as chipper as the
drama
first time.
llama hits and we have tears, parents' tears. Because I think they did the same as us. That, they're in, it's all going to be okay. But what the children have done, have just thought, actually, this is going to happen every day. And it's suddenly that realisation that, okay, actually, I'm not going to be okay.
No.
And I am going to get very upset. So...
And in nursery at the moment, we have still got children that are getting upset sort of every day, and it is very momentarily. It's sort of as they come in, they'll cry on the separation from their parents, and then, literally within 3 or 4 minutes, they've come into nursery and they're settled, and it's all good. But it is hard. I think it takes that little bit longer when they're younger, and when it's perhaps their first time separating from their parents as well, carers. So some children haven't been to a setting yet, quite a high percentage in nursery. So we've had quite a lot of tears, and that's just me.
But yours is so important in nursery because they've got that, it's attachment and making sure those attachments are not broken and not put to the point that the children are then distressed, because that can cause more problems in time. And just that the attachment is that mummy will be back or daddy will be back. Those people are coming back, come and have the fun, and then you get to go back after. And then to make more relationships here, which is the biggest thing, and it's a big thing they're talking about at the school at the moment, is how important relationships are, because that is the biggest thing. And even working with some of the oldest children, how that is so important, and how settling in, actually some of them are almost reverting back to how they were at nursery, because they're finding it really hard, and some of them are almost grieving. And it really was the other day, the child just couldn't stop crying because they were grieving for year 3, and that's how it felt to them, is that it was gone, it was dead, and they didn't know what to do. But actually putting things in for them to go down and have a look at where they were from, to make sure that attachment isn't gone.
It's processing change, isn't it?
Yes.
Basically,
Yeah.
it's processing change in routine, like being removed from their primary carer, and in nursery it will be their first setting that they've ever done that. So it is grieving.
It is, yeah.
It is a grief. So it's being mindful that actually it is okay for children to be upset. It is okay to allow them that time to cry, to get their bodies to release that emotion, that anxiety that they have. And actually, you do always feel better after you've had a good cry. I mean, I know I do. And that's
Cleansing.
why it is. And that is why they do that, is to get that anxiety out. So allow them that time to have a cry. And, you know, as long as they're safe and you're with them and you're sitting with them and just being calm, then that allows them to know that you're that steady, strong person that you...
Yeah, and that's also a part of building that relationship. It's trusting that person, you are going to stay there with them until they're ready. And that's the first part of your relationship, which is so important.
Yeah, and for some children it's really easy. They just find that easy, and they are settled as soon as they come in, and maybe that's because they've sort of gone through that attachment phase previously, or, you know, they just have a different attachment style to their parents. And then for others, you know, it is more tricky, and I think it's especially tricky on those parents where it is their first setting and they feel emotional. They're struggling with it. You know, we all know how it feels like. We're all mums that, you know, work and having to drop your children off for something else. It does tear at your heartstrings, so you kind of empathise with the parents so much. So just little things like, if it's a child that's really upset, I'll just try and give them a call in the morning just to let them know,
definitely.
Oh, they're okay. And I think if you can release some of that tension with the parents, it rubs off positively on the children as well.
And it's that first, you are their first, so Steph, you are the first, like, face of the school that they know. So once you've built up that trust of them, that will carry on through the rest of the school. So it's so vital that you keep in contact with parents. And even if their child is still crying whilst, you know, you're on the phone to the parent, just reassuring them that you are doing everything that you can to make that child feel safe and, you know, as secure as possible. You know, that just makes people feel relieved, basically, doesn't it?
And talking to that parent, asking them what helps that child, because they're the parent, they know their child the best. So you just ask them what maybe helps, maybe a soft toy, or they really like cars, or whatever is actually things that you can help that child feel secure and safe. And asking the parent is the best way to go, because they know their child the best.
And we have, in our setting, we use what we call red books, but they're like journals, they're scrapbooks with photographs of children's family, and they've become really important to the children setting in. They absolutely love sharing them. And some children, for them, it's like a comfort. So they'll actually carry it around with them. It's like they're carrying their families around with them. And it's kind of allowing them to do that. I know.
But it's keeping their families in mind. And that's what is helping to keep their attachment secure. They are so... They get very dogged by the end of the year, don't they?
They're well loved.
Some of the nursery ones are already dogged, I'm telling you.
But yeah, they're very precious. Another thing, I've had a child who has continued to be very upset in the mornings, and actually what's really helped him is we read the book The Invisible String. And I will put the link in this podcast because it is an amazing book, and it basically, to sum it up, it's about teaching children that no matter where they are, and even in the world, even if someone's passed away, that attachment, that string that is connected between them and the person that they're attached to never breaks. It stretches to wherever they are. And if you tug on it, though, if you get them to pretend to tug on it, that the other person will feel it. And you can also carry that on. So if you needed something more concrete, they could have a transitional object. So we've asked parents to find 2 objects that are the same, maybe a pebble or one of those little Kinder Egg toys or something that is very small that can be kept in their pocket.
That's nice.
They can just touch that, and you know the child thinks that their mum or their caregiver has felt that touch.
Another thing I've seen is like like a love button, you can call it, where they draw a little heart on their hands and the parent draws the heart and then you can touch it.
And for young children, they need a concrete thing, which is why sometimes they have their special teddy. It's their transitional object that they need to have that physical touch. So I could highly recommend that book. I get it out every year. It's a trusted friend.
But that's, again, still very much about grieving, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, So, and also just having a timetable, a visual timetable, getting them out so that children know what's coming next. They don't know what the routine is, and that is what they're unsure of. They don't know what's coming next.
And they just need to know that eventually it's going to be home time, whether that's going to after school club for some children, whether it's being picked up by childminder or whether it's carer. They just need to know that we're going to go through this process. It's going to be the same every day. It's a regular routine, and that it will end with mum, dad, parent, carer, whoever coming to pick me up. And it's just that process, isn't it, of learning that.
And I think routines are incredibly important to children and to adults, because we all like to know what's coming next. So I think, should we do the next one about routines?
Yeah, establishing routines.
I think that's really important. So we'll go into routines more detail in the next.
I think we've already promised that, actually.
I think we have, but we will
we
do
didn't deliver, so... if anybody's a regular listener, listening to every single one, it's just me. So that's probably a good place to for our next staff meeting.
Okay, are we ready?
Yep.
So it's time for some staff voice. And how are we settling in this year?
Go on, Steph, how are you settling in?
You probably had the biggest change.
I've had probably the biggest change going into sort of a new year group in a completely different structure, really, to the rest of the school in a way, being in nursery. I work with some fantastic people, so I've got like a great team of support staff who are just, who've been in nursery for many years. They're very established, so they're kind of helping me out with all the things I'm not, I haven't learnt yet.
And they're very skilled as well.
They are, extremely.
And very, very, just good at what they do. And so it's been lovely in that way, settling in. I'm just getting used to the, just building those relationships really with the children, but also with the parents, because as you said earlier, I'm kind of the first port of call for some of these parents and carers at the school, and because I'm a newer face to that year group where we had somebody that was quite established in the school that had been there for many years, and although I have been teaching for a long time, you kind of got to build up that reputation of being somebody that is
they can trust.
They can come
trust. And so I think that takes time as well. So it's just, really important, but just trying to squeeze in, like making those phone calls, catching up with parents that I maybe haven't spoken to yet. I've got a few children that go to wraparound care, so we don't see mum or dad or whoever, and they sort of called in just to check how they're going. And it's just, just building those relationships really, and I'm just getting my head around it.
And how many children do you have?
Well, I feel like the old woman that lived in a shoe who had so many children. She just didn't know what to do. So we have up to 45 in a session. But we do have sort of 62 on roll. So it's kind of like double a class. Two classes, two sets of parents to remember, two sets of like different pickups, and it's different children on different days, so nobody does like a set. It's sort of pick your own sessions really. So some children do like all morning. Some children will do, you know, the random Wednesday. It's just very, very random. So it's kind of just getting used to that. So I'm getting there. I'm not fully, you know, I'm not fully settled in yet. I don't think it doesn't yet feel like second nature.
No.
But
has the panic gone?
it sort of returns on a Monday morning a little bit. Yeah, that first day I walked around school like a rabbit in headlights, really. I was just, people asking me if I was okay, and I just didn't know. I didn't know how to speak. It was a shock to the system, but yeah, I am getting there every day, and yeah, I can see how wonderful it's going to be once we are over this settling in period for me and for the children. So looking forward to the future.
That's good.
How about you, Kealey?
Yeah, so pretty good. Yeah, we got a lot of, yeah, it was good where I've moved with a lot of my children that need extra support, so that was really nice. I've moved with them.
So
but
just
it's
for our
big,
listeners,
yeah.
Kealey used to be in early years, and
Yes.
now you've taken a role where you're supporting key
Yeah.
children in school
A lot
that
of
need
key
a lot
children.
of extra support.
Yeah.
And you're doing that in the early years way, the only way you know how.
I
doing
am,
it in the
and
Kealey
it
way.
totally is in the Kealey way. It totally is. I mean, we've got a courtyard, lovely little area that was an outside area that a lot of our children really need to access. That actually in the classroom is too much for them sometimes. So we've got that, and I'm doing sand, digging area, and we're doing woodwork, and we're doing digging, and we're doing planting. We planted onions this week, ready for over winter.
Wow.
There you go, and garlic as well. That's gone in. So it's all about like that relationships and those things that you need with those children that really still need it, and some of them are still need that.
They need to play.
Yeah, they do need to play.
Children need to
They
play.
do, and they miss that, and it's almost a yearning for it. And that actually they do need that space to play, and that space to just feel free, almost. That actually a classroom can be very constricting for those children, and they need to get out, and that's what I'm kind of there for, which is lovely, and I absolutely love my job. It's wonderful. I love it.
I'm pleased to hear that. So you're feeling settled then?
Been settled,
Good.
even though my children aren't so much,
they're not
but
settled,
I'm settled, ready to help them to what they need.
So
So
you're creating that attachment.
Probably helps that you've kind of done the role for nearly a year now,
Yeah,
so you kind
almost
of
getting there.
know what you're doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah?
How about you,
me.
Sarah?
So I'm staying where I am.
Yeah.
A big change again for you. Oh, you're still in reception.
I'm still in reception in the same classroom. I've got my staff member back.
Your O2.
Yeah.
My other half. So the dream team are back.
Dream team.
But the thing that has changed for me is that I have a student for the first time in my
wow.
career. 13 years on, and this is my first
Gosh.
teaching student.
Wow.
And she's really lovely.
Exciting.
She has already come from an early years background, so that's always helped.
lovely.
But I suddenly thought, I actually better feel.
My top game.
Got to look like you know what you're doing, eh?
And it has really tested me, because I like to wing it. I'm not going to lie.
Well, we're all a little bit of a
to
winger,
wing.
aren't we?
In
Yeah.
early years, you can do that.
Yeah.
You can just flick to the
Wing,
children's
yeah.
interest whenever you need.
Yeah.
But I have realised that I do really need to think about what I'm actually doing, because I'm teaching someone else
Someone else
to do it.
how to do it. This is
So
how you
that
wing it.
has made me be a lot more organised, so which is only good. That's always good.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, it has definitely opened my eyes that actually, okay, Sarah, you need to work on that a bit more. So yeah, that is my big change. But yeah, I'm loving it.
Good positive start to the year then.
It is. Yeah.
Brings us on nicely to our
To our mind.
zenful.
Yeah.
Zenful.
And I'm looking forward to this, because I've never heard of this before. Are you ready?
Okay, you say you've never heard of it. I'm just scrolling back down. So we want to talk about focused breathing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, so as you girls know, I'm a bit of like always looking for the zen, always looking for the mind. Yeah, the mindful moment, really. So I have started taking up meditation again in the mornings when I wake up in the morning. So I've got an app on my phone. It's called the Balance app, and it's I don't know if it's like promoted by the NHS. I'm not sure, but I just found it. But it is one that you pay for, but it's free for a year. So you sign up, you don't have to pay anything at all. You just put in your card details, and it gives you a year's free.
That's amazing.
It's a bit like, I suppose there's the Mind app, which is quite, I think that's a similar thing, and it gives you like personalised meditation. So I've been doing that in the mornings, and I've been doing this thing called focus breathing, where it is basically you just focus on your breathing. So you can do different strategies to do that. So you just breathe at your normal pace. So it's like a meditation. So you get comfy, you get quiet, and you just try and focus on your breathing. And the different things you can do to help you are, you can focus on the physical sensations of breathing. So as you breathe in, you might notice that the air is cool, and then as you breathe out, it's warmer. So you can focus on that. You can focus what happens to your sort of abdomen area. So as you breathe in, it all expands and your lungs expand, and then as you breathe out, it disbands. Or you can use sort of counting to help you. So as you breathe in and you breathe out, you count 1, and then you repeat and you get to 5, and then you start again. And it's just all about that mindfulness, like bringing it back to the present moment. And it's something you could sort of, if you needed a moment, you could come into your cupboard, recording studio or toilet, and just have a little moment, just to have a bit of focused breathing. So you might want to try that this week if you're feeling particularly stressed.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well,
And then Keels,
I'm going
you're doing the mindful moment next podcast after this.
Well, no, I can't. I'll tell you about it. So I'm going to a sound bar for the weekend.
Yeah, what's that?
With my mum,
Right.
and she's treating me, so we're all going together. And basically, it is. So this lady does yoga. So it's kind of, but what it is a really relaxing. She's got a studio or something. It's really, really relaxing. And what you do, you have to take a mat or something nice to lay on, as many cushions as you want. Yeah, because he said you have to be like really cozy and really like comfortable to like get to that.
Is it hygge?
Almost,
Hygge.
yes.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
How to say it. Never
is a
remember.
little bit like that, I think. And then like blankets and anything warm, and basically to feel, and like people go in their pajamas and stuff. I'm obviously not going in my pajamas, but
Why not?
but people do. So, and it's supposed to be really, really, you get yourself into such a cozy, like happy place, and that will help you to get to reach like this whole different level of zen.
By playing sounds.
They do a gong.
Oh,
So it's all done with a gong.
that wasn't what I was expecting.
Oh yeah,
I was expecting
this
like
is something I've never known and never heard of. But
one of those bowls that you have a wand
Oh,
and
yeah.
you go round
no,
and it goes.
wasn't even
I don't know.
expecting.
That might even be that, but I don't
It
know
makes
because I've not
this,
seen.
like,
Like the glass, like
sounds,
rubbing
yeah,
the top of the glass.
yeah.
Well, according to a lot of it is gong. With a gong. I can't wait. I'm so
Relaxation. God, it's not where I head to when I think of instruments.
Just wait. I've got a total open mind about this. I am really looking
Good.
forward to it.
Need it.
Because I'm not entirely sure it's good. My brother's done it when he went on holiday, and he said it was amazing and transported him to like this completely different place in his mind,
Right.
and it was like life changing.
Okay, so you're
So
doing that
I'm
this
waiting
weekend.
for it this
What
weekend.
time of day are you doing
It's
it?
7:30
In the morning?
in the evening.
Oh.
All right, I was going to
But
say.
the only problem is that my mum said, like, you've got to keep awake, you know, because that's the
Yeah.
whole point of it. But you know what I will be? I will be asleep. And I have, like, told the woman, I'm really sorry if you hear, like, a funny, like, snuffling noise. That's me asleep.
That's not one of the sound
And
bar
she-
voices, it's Keeley asleep.
And she said, oh, no, that's, like, a part of it. I said, well, if I'm really cosy and happy, I will be asleep.
What a waste of money. You're asleep
Oh,
for
no.
it.
See, this is my mum. My mum was like, this is not a waste of money. I went, no, mum, this is totally not a waste of money because I don't have in my ear, mum, Mum,
Yeah.
mum,
And that's
mum.
true, yeah.
And you've got that time away. Even yes, if I do fall asleep, my mum has paid for me to come away for a bit and just chillax.
When I once went to the gym, I say once.
What, in 19s?
Yeah, it was a well-known brand of gyms.
Other gyms are available.
Other gyms, I'm not going to mention it because I'm not promoting them. But anyway, on the menu board of the things that you could do at the gym, there was like a sleep thing where you could go and they give you a sleeping bag and you sleep in these pods with these special lights that go over. And you pay an hour to sleep.
Wow!
I mean, that's the kind of gym I could get with.
Exactly. Me too.
That's it.
Yeah, just go for a workout.
Yeah.
Come back really refreshed. Not sweating, not reds, just like
an extra stone heavier because you've done any movement. Okay, well, I look forward to that.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great.
Well, if you come back into school wearing yoga pants, headbands,
totally zen,
bangles,
then we're all
we'll
going.
know that you've had an epiphany.
Yeah, and we're all going.
Yeah. Okay. Year staff meeting on tour.
To the sound bar.
It's just us snoring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Well, it was lovely to be able to come back together after the manicness of first weeks of term. And we look forward to coming back together again.
Yeah, we promise.
We promise we'll do routines.
Yeah.
We promise.
Next one. So watch this space.
Watch this space.
Have a good week.
Have a good week, everyone.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.